The Sonic games always reference previous games to pander to long-term fans. But did you know that Sega also used storylines, characters, and other concepts which come from cancelled projects and game drafts? Let's have a look together at the existing Sonic games which have actually taken ideas from other projects Sega scrapped. I'm not the biggest fan of Sonic Riders. I don't mind the story, but I just find the gameplay irritating more than anything. I'd much rather play the hoverboard races in the original Ratchet & Clank games, but I don't hate the Riders series. I love the characters and lore these games introduced, but this wasn't the first time we saw Sonic riding a hoverboard. In 2003, a company named Visionscape, working for Sega at the time, had developed a prototype for an Xbox Sonic spin-off game which was named Sonic X-Treme. In the demo, Sonic and Shadow could be seen riding hoverboards together in an area reminiscent of Green Hill Zone. They would either race each other or take part in the game's battle mode. The head of Sonic Team, Yuji Naka, seemed impressed with the demo presented to him by Visionscape, and the future of the game looked bright. But after Visionscape finished working on the cinematic cutscenes for Sonic Heroes, Sega stopped communicating with them entirely. This was somewhat disappointing, since the co-founder of Visionscape, Mark McDonald, was certain that Sega was going to collaborate with them to make a full game. But he didn't take offense to Sega's silence and assumed they were working on their own projects. Fast forward to 2005, and Sonic Team announced that they were going to be working on a game known as Sonic Riders. McDonald saw the resemblance between Sonic Riders and Sonic X-Treme, and even considered taking legal action against Sonic Team, but he was unable to, as Visionscape had signed a non-disclosure agreement while working on Sonic Heroes, meaning that Sega owned anything Visionscape made if they developed anything using Sega's property, which in this case was Sonic the Hedgehog in their game Sonic X-Treme. 2006 was to be an important year, as that was the release date of Sonic Riders, and was also the year in which Visionscape closed down. McDonald ordered for the disposal of the company's development hardware, and some of their software development kits were recycled. It's unknown what actually survives of the company's other projects, but it is known that the prototype copies of Sonic X-Treme were not destroyed. The prototype game was traded between collectors, and it was never seen publicly until 2011, when a YouTuber known as ProtonX3 released video footage of the game. Sonic Riders clearly bears resemblance to Sonic X-Treme, and even has similar game modes, even if they have been changed quite a bit. While the story has no connection to Visionscape's prototype, the gameplay and game modes definitely come from Sonic X-Treme, and it's no doubt that the hoverboards being named X-Treme Gears is no coincidence. Perhaps this was Sonic Team's way of paying homage to the original source material, which gave them the inspiration to make this project. Or perhaps they were just taking everything they could from Visionscape's prototype, knowing that there was nothing Visionscape could do against them. Sonic Lost World is one of those games I've never felt the need to play, and I really don't feel like I've missed out on much. But I do have some new interest in the game, now that I've discovered that the Deadly Six have actually been talked about among Sega long before the release of Lost World. I actually found a forum with people who discussed the similarities between Sonic Lost World and Sonic X-Treme, which was started in 2013 before Lost World's release. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to look through that. It actually looks like the Lonely Goomba was present there too, but I'll be covering the same things the guys there covered, so that's just something for you guys to read in your spare time. And it was all discussed prior to the release of Sonic Lost World, while this is being discussed after the release. Many fans are well aware of the game Sonic X-Treme, not to be confused with Sonic X-Treme, which I mentioned previously. These are two different games. This Sonic X-Treme was cancelled in 1997. In fact, it's pretty much become a famous legend among Sonic fans. It's the first thing many of us think of when we think cancelled Sonic projects. There were many storylines and ideas pitched for this game, and one of those scrap stories was apparently supposed to involve the Master Emerald being destroyed, thus releasing something named as Deadly Six Creatures. This is no coincidence. It's unknown what the original Deadly Six was supposed to look like because again, the vague story outline was scrapped in favour of another one, but the fact that they are called the Deadly Six is enough to show that Sega decided to reuse content from this long lost scrapped story. It's also worth noting that Sega had to change a lot of the lore surrounding the Deadly Six. The Deadly Six mentioned in the Sonic X-Treme story concept had to escape from a shattered Master Emerald, but the Master Emerald has been shattered before in the 2 adventure games, and no deadly creatures escaped from them besides Chaos, which I will get into in a moment. Sonic Lost World does bear some resemblance to Sonic X-Treme in terms of gameplay style, so it's likely that Sega were further inspired by the infamous unreleased title. It's just a shame that Sonic Lost World was yet another Sonic game which was executed poorly. Even the title Lost World suggests that this world is the one that we lost, like how Sonic X-Treme was lost. If Sega had advertised this game to be the new Sonic X-Treme, and if the game had actually been given a decent story, then maybe it would have done so much more for the Sonic franchise. But Sonic Lost World ended up being more forgettable than the cancelled title it was heavily inspired by. The groundbreaking Dreamcast game Sonic Adventure also took some inspiration from Sonic X-Treme. Now, I couldn't find any sources to really confirm anything, and I haven't played much of Sonic Adventure myself, but Sonic Adventure was originally planned to be a Sega Saturn game, and there was even a prototype of this version revealed. But the game was moved to be released on the Dreamcast in 1998, and the Sega Saturn became a failed console. Sonic X-Treme was supposed to be the game released for the Saturn, which would have most likely changed its fate on the market, but Sega left it to die after it cancelled Sonic X-Treme and moved on to developing Sonic Adventure. The prototype of Sonic Adventure bears some resemblance to Sonic X-Treme, with the classic styled models, but there isn't much known about whether or not this game took anything directly from Xtreme. Like I mentioned in my previous discussion of Sonic Lost World, the release of Chaos in Sonic Adventure seemed to be somewhat reminiscent of the Deadly Six story planned for Sonic X-Treme, with a deadly creature being unleashed following the shattering of the Master Emerald, with Adventure and Xtreme being developed around similar times, and with the final Adventure being released only a year after Xtreme's cancellation. It seems too unusual for the similar storylines being a mere coincidence, and I definitely believe that Chaos breaking out of his Master Emerald prison was supposed to reflect the scrapped story of the original Deadly Six. Sonic 06 gets way too much hate, and it's sad to see that many fans hate on it despite never even playing the game for themselves. The game is full of references to previous titles like the adventure games and Sonic Heroes, with the Orca chase, the famous lines being reused, and even theme songs being reused, such as All Hail Shadow, which was originally used in Shadow the Hedgehog, the game that came out a year before Sonic 06. But even though this game tried its best to be an anniversary game by reminding players of previous titles, it also took inspiration from scrapped storylines. In the original 1991 Sonic the Hedgehog game, Sonic was actually supposed to have a human girlfriend named Madonna. Her story and purpose have never been confirmed, but apparently she was supposed to chase Sonic around somewhat Amy Rose style, I guess. The character of Princess Elise in Sonic 06 was actually supposed to be a reference to Madonna. While the two don't really look alike to one another, Sega finally wanted to give Sonic the human love interest he was originally planned to have. But unfortunately, fans really did not accept the idea of a hedgehog loving a human. This is a somewhat short and sweet entry, but there was an arcade video game known as SegaSonic the Hedgehog, which was released in 1993. It's a game not many people really know about because it has never actually been ported like other classic titles have. The game featured Sonic alongside Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. This may have been their video game debut, but this wasn't the first time Sega actually planned to use the characters. Mighty was actually a concept artwork for Sonic the Hedgehog before Sega decided to settle with a Hedgehog character. Sega obviously held on to their Armadillo design and decided to reuse it when creating a new Armadillo character. This design, of course, was eventually used for Mighty. Considering the fact that Sonic Mania was made by Christian Whitehead, a Sonic fan, it's no surprise that he used some scrapped ideas. I'm not going to talk about this much because many other videos already cover this game in particular, with all of its Easter eggs, but I will mention it because this game did bring back some unused content. There were some hopping bunny robots known as Splats, which were originally supposed to appear in the first Sonic game, but they were scrapped in favour of the Buzz Bombers. Christian Whitehead brought them back for his Sonic Mania title, title, so finally these little badniks can get the love they deserve. Anyway, this is about all I've got time to talk about. I've probably missed out some other unused concepts that were eventually reused by Sega, but I felt like I should make a video talking about this. Let me know in the comments if there are any other Sonic games which took inspiration from cancelled projects, and let me know if you'd be interested in more videos talking about cut content. I'm Lord Danny, signing out.